and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty, justice for all.
If I call the meeting to order. All right. Your meeting of July 28th, 2021. And council chambers and virtual meeting via Zoom.
Can you wait 1 second? We don't have any.
We don't have any video on Zoom. Oh my gosh.
Apparently we're not going out.
I'm out.
Pause.
All right. Muted down. Down. Click on that. You should be able to. No, that was the thing. I'm just wondering if up above it, if you click on that.
No, the setup is different.
I know.
I don't know what's going on. I'll chat, and what I'll do is I'll turn my camera on, turn my rock. Folks won't be able to see. No. It's done. And then I will turn my video on. Melina, can you hear us?
Well, she's muted herself, so. She's got herself muted. Yes.
Back while we were working on this, because we were dead air.
That's why we were dead.
No.
No?
Okay, now go.
Now we're
Now
all
go.
right. Okay, so we will move on to the first order of business, which is public announcements. And details may be found at www.fairfieldme.com. First order is nomination papers are now available and are due by September 3rd for the November 2nd municipal election. There are 2 seats for town council. Please contact town clerk for details. Number 2, summer concerts in the park will be held each Friday from 6 to 7:30, July 23rd through August 27th. I believe that was a changeover from Thursday. And number 3, Fairfield Farmers Market is held on Wednesdays from 2 to 6 p.m., Saturdays from 9:30 to 1:30. The market is located at the Fairfield Church of the Nazarene at 81 Main Street. Second order of business will be public hearings. There are none. Third order of business, public comments, 3 minutes, limit, or equivalents. Members of the public may email comments for council at info@fairfieldme.com by 4 p.m. the day of the meeting on any topic or agenda item. Items may be read aloud at this time. Were there any?
Melina Dumas, Esquire of Drummond Woodson, is reserving the right to speak on items 21, 100, and 101.
Okay, so noted. All right, fourth order of business, reports from staff and committees. Town manager reports.
Right. So last week we received our dividend payments from Maine Municipal Association Workers' Comp Fund in the amount of $4,943, and Property and Casualty Fund in the amount of $4,116. This is because of good performance and loss prevention programs. It's a small dent in our budget, of course, because Property and Casualty was for last year $23,800 and Workers' Comp was $63,239.88. But the fact that we got money back is a good thing and a step.
Yes.
Good. On the 27th, which was this past Monday, Tuesday, the Economic Community Development Committee did a walkthrough at Mill Island Park. As part of the process as we're working towards our waterfront plan. So we did a good inventory and things that we'd like to see done. And then also yesterday, the Public Works Director and I met with the engineering firm of St. Germain and the developer regarding the potential industrial road extension to address a future project that's going on up there. Today I spoke with DEP regarding their wanting to take water samples from the fish ponds on Industrial Road with all of the PFAS contamination investigation that's been going on through town. They happen to think about the fish ponds, so they're gonna just double check those just to see what's going on with that, because that is still children under the age of 16 are allowed to fish without a license, of course,
Right.
and take fish out of there. So we want to know if there's anything going on with that here in town, so they'll be looking at
Good idea.
an update to some of our projects. We received the site survey report for the fire training facility. Dirigo Engineering will be setting the stations for Public Works to perform most of the site work. We are waiting on estimates for the cost of material, which needs to be brought in after excavation. Based upon the geologic report, we need to remove approximately 5 feet of material and then bring in 2 feet of material for the base for the foundation. So we're still waiting on that material estimate. Also, Fairfield residents that use the back gate transfer station at the Norridgewock's waste management's transfer station in Norridgewock will be eligible for a household hazardous waste collection on August 21st. And then following up to a previous email that I sent to the council, Brookfield is offering an opportunity for town councilors to tour the Kennebec Hydro facility in Winslow. One of their tours was today, but they are offering another tour on August 4th at 1 p.m. We do have 2 councilors that have already indicated that they want to go. I need to know by tomorrow morning if any of the rest of you plan to attend. And then, of course, too, if there's 3 or more of you, we do need to publicly post that you will be there at that location. Also, in my conversations with Miranda at Kennebec Hydro, the recent draft environmental assessment that's come out through the feds may require resubmission of the council's opinion on the dam removal. So I just got that information this morning, so I'll be taking a look at that, and she said the process for submitting testimony. So I'll keep you updated with that. And then just as a reminder, that the DEP PFAS investigation still has a dedicated page on the town's website. We've started receiving a rather large uptick in calls in the last several weeks, which we believe is linked to the change from the 70 parts per trillion to the 20 parts per trillion. And these are new individuals who, you know, weren't involved when we were having our conversations constantly regarding this. And all of that information from the very beginning is still located on our website. So if you do get calls from folks, that's still a really good resource for them. And other than David Burns at the DEP, none of that contact information has changed. So the CDC is still the same. The Department of Ag is still the same. Molly King is still the same. So, but all of that information is still there. So, and that's it for me.
Excuse me. Oh, very good. Okay. Committee reports. None from Stephanie, none from anybody else. No committee reports to be had. So we'll move on to our 5th order of business, which is the consent agenda. Now, these items are considered routine or standard business and therefore will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion on these items unless a council member so requests prior to consideration of this portion of the agenda, in which event the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered next on the agenda. Item 2189, ordered that Fairfield Town Council hereby waives the reading of and accepts the minutes of the meeting 2021-12 held on July 14th, 2021. And item 2199, ordered that the Town Council hereby approves the Treasurer's warrant, number 80, General Fund, in the amount of $9,960.69. Warrant number 6 of the General Fund, in the amount of $97,528.17. And warrant number CF, number 1, Crawford Fund, in the amount of $51,500. Not limited to, but including MSAD 49 fuel, MMEHT, PD software, motor vehicle, and Lawrence High Band.
Second.
Any discussion? Questions? Whatever? Okay. All in favor? Carries 4-0. Moving to our 6th order of business, which is take action on the following items of business as read by the council chair. Item 21-100, ordered that the town council hereby approves a medical marijuana dispensary license, Cannabis Cured Dispensary, LLC permit number 2021-02, and authorizes the town manager to sign and submit correspondence to the Maine Office of Marijuana Policy, Maine Adult Use Local Authorization Forms, in accordance with the Fairfield Land Use Ordinance Sections 6.4A and 9.20 and state statutes.
So move.
Second.
Discussion. Questions? There being none, all in favor? Carries 4-0. Item 21-101. Ordered that the town council hereby approves renewals for 3 adult-use marijuana licenses and authorizes the town manager to sign and submit corresponding 3 Maine Office of Marijuana Policy, Maine Adult Use Local Authorization Forms in accordance with the Fairfield Land Use Ordinance Sections 6.4A and 9.20 and state statutes. First would be permit M2021-03, Cannabis Cured Cultivation LLC. Second would be permit M2021-04, Full Spectrum Solutions LLC. And the third would be M2021-05, Mainly Baked LLC.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Questions? All in favor? Carries full. Okay, moving on
Thank you, Melina.
I guess that wasn't really needed, Tara. I will not.
Thanks for coming.
Congratulations.
Okay. All right, moving on to 20-102. Ordered that the town council hereby votes and authorizes the town manager to cast the MMA ballot for officers and executive committee members.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Carries full. Item 21-103. Ordered that the town council hereby reconsiders and awards bids to Hopkins Paving for the 2021-2022 paving and reclaim.
So move. Second.
All right, I'm going to turn this over to the town manager, and she'll give an explanation.
Further explanation. So, as you were made aware back at the beginning of July, the contractors that we had originally selected back in March, Wellman Paving, were not going to be able to fulfill their obligation with regards to paving here in the town of Fairfield. We had some large projects as well as small overlay in town projects. The owners of Wellman Paving passed away on July 4th. And therefore, we're not going to be able to fill not only their obligations to the town of Fairfield, but pretty much over the entire state of Maine. So the Public Works Director was able to very quickly get in touch with the second low bidder, which was Hopkins Paving, and asked whether or not there was any feasibility of them being able to assist us with any paving this year or not. They do have some time available, and they were willing to fit us in for some of our projects. So what we have opted to do, current plan, is to pave the roads in which we have done major or minor construction to, roads that were already taken apart. So the Bigelow Hill Road, the Old Norwich Walk Road, and the Horn Hill Road. So there was a slight deviation in the price, so there's a small increase, which is roughly $12,086.30 based upon their base price, Hopkins base price as compared to Wellman's. So that's not that much when you start talking about asphalt. We more than likely would have paid an increase anyway. One of the things that we do is a price adjustment clause when we bid paving. So of course paving is bid based upon the cost of liquid asphalt at the time the bids are submitted. But there's a formula in which you make an adjustment, whether it be up or down. I think I've saved more money using that price adjustment clause than it's cost the municipality money over the years, but it does work out very well. And then what we will do is that the in-town streets, which required, the storm drains to be lowered, the manholes to be lowered, the reclaiming, then the rising of those structures, and then the repaving of, which was Connor Ave, Gerald Terrace, Brook Street, West Street, the small section of West Street that did not get done when we did the project last year, and Mount Palm Street will just be bumped out to next year's projects. And remember also with your paving funds, if you do not use them, they just simply roll over into the next year for our paving. So that's where we are at.
Yes, Stephanie.
I've got two questions. One is, I can't remember where Hopkins Paving is.
That's a good question, and I don't have their original, I don't have their original bid in front of me. But it should be in the public work. Or it should be in the bid folder. Maybe she can find that while we work on your next question.
Okay. And the next question is, on West Street, there's been some work done, and there are pylons that go out halfway out into the road in that old section that hasn't done yet. Is there any way that we can get that ironed over or tarred over?
You mean where the cones are?
Yes.
Yeah, so what had happened is that we had actually started lowering structures because we found out that this all happened the day before they were supposed to come pave here. So we've yet to figure out quite how we're gonna adjust that, whether it be they raise it back up or whether we just kind of cold patch it and wait. So that's kind of just been, we're working on that. Yeah.
I was just curious.
Yeah, that's how quickly how much of a shock this was to our planning. So
Yeah.
Didn't Hopkins do like the rest of it last summer? Were they the ones in charge of?
no, that was Roundy last
yeah,
year,
Roundy,
and then
okay.
Pike.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell on this. I'll apologize.
We'll look and find out where they're from. I can't remember where they're from, but
Okay. Any more questions? All in favor? Carries 100%. Okay, moving on to item 21-104. Ordered that the town council hereby adopt revisions to the town council administrative policy, section 105, remote meeting participation.
So, second.
Any questions? Yes, Stephanie.
Okay, on page 9, number 2.
Yeah.
I do have some concerns, especially because of the ad hoc meetings we have, planning board, the economic committee meeting, there's even the charter commission. And so if you look at number 2, and I'm going to read, the public will be provided a meaningful opportunity to attend via remote method when any member of the body participates via remote method. Does that mean that one of the committee members is unable to make the meeting, therefore going to be opened up to the public?
so means not any different than how we do things right now.
Right.
Okay, so basically what that means is right now you could stop having Zoom available to anyone. And you could have a meeting in which a counselor couldn't attend, similar to tonight, and because of an emergency and wanted to attend via Zoom. What this means is that you cannot allow the counselor to attend via Zoom and nobody else. This means that if a counselor attends via Zoom, you have to allow the public to attend via Zoom, similar to what we do right now. So any member of the public right now, because we have a Zoom session open, can attend via Zoom.
All right, so that pertains to us as town council. How does that pertain to?
All of them. Because this applies to all,
Committees. So does that mean?
this is for all town council boards and committees and
Right.
subcommittees.
So does
Yes.
that mean all committees are now going to be able to go Zooming?
So all committees have had the ability to do Zoom. And every time they've done Zoom, the meeting's been available to the public. So it's
So it's going to be a formal invite for the public through Zoom.
So what we do is we use Google Docs. So like right now, there's a link on all of our council agendas in which you go in and you pre-register. Once you register for the meeting, it then in turn sends you the Zoom link to the meeting. It doesn't have to be an emergency for a member of the public. So like right now tonight, we've held this meeting, everybody's here. If, we planned for everybody to be here, but yet we're still doing a hybrid. We're gonna still have Zoom available to the public, available to people who want to speak to you for ease. Like the attorney that participated tonight, who was probably out of Portland, didn't have to drive all the way up here.
Right.
She was able to speak to you via Zoom. If it would be just the same as if it was the planning board, which they do, it's open to members of the public to participate via Zoom
How does the public know that they can do this?
by looking at the agenda.
And the agendas are always
Are
posted
posted
online. So
or on the
that
bulletin
is,
board.
so that
Yeah.
everybody knows that they can.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you look at your
I know, it's always at the
paper,
beginning.
it's got the
Yeah.
pre-registration to join
Right, but
Zoom
I
meeting.
don't think the public realizes that they can do that as the public. Because I'm thinking about the economic committee. That's something that we're going to have a discussion about. And so when I look at number 3, notice of all meetings, and when the public may attend, they can attend at any time.
Right.
So it's not a question of may, but they can all the time. The word,
The lawyers that wrote this.
they
Yeah,
shall, right.
so
So it's an option.
the lawyers that wrote this policy and our attorney that read it and vetted it.
So we're okay with,
Right.
because I'm thinking, is this an either or situation? Either we're going to do this or we're not going to do it
No.
for certain.
So what happened is that, remember, prior to the state of emergency regarding COVID-19, electronic participation in an official meeting was not allowed, period. You could not have been somewhere stuck in an emergency situation and participated via conference call or a Zoom application or any of that. It was not legal attendance. It was just not allowed. The state of emergency allowed for it to happen. So for the past year, because everybody has started using electronic communication devices, we found that it is possible for folks to be able to carry on a meeting in this manner, conduct it legally, still ensure that the public is able to participate, and it still is covered by the Freedom of Information and Freedom of Access laws. When the state of emergency ended, your ability to do that also ended until this law was changed. And so when the new law went into effect, it specifically stated that a policy that is addressing all of these issues that are in here had to be adopted by the governing body in order for you to continue. So technically, say that where Peter's not here, if Peter this evening knew ahead of time that he wasn't going to be here and wanted to participate via Zoom, his attendance via Zoom wouldn't have been legal until this policy is adopted. By adopting this policy, then that would have made his attendance legal and able to do that. And then this covers all boards and committees. Like Economic and Community Development doesn't typically do Zoom. They haven't done Zoom the last couple of meetings. So the public, in order to participate, would come here to the building just the same as they always could if they wanted to participate. But if you chose to do Zoom, then the public could participate that way.
So is the option to do Zoom all, to me, it doesn't make sense. Because we either have that opportunity to do Zoom all the time and like you'd be ready for her and we'd be up on the screen. We haven't done that.
What the law did was made sure that committees just did not automatically choose to meet via Zoom. The premise is that a committee should meet in person because you don't want someone to get on a committee and go live in Florida. We have a lot of people who live in Florida, but Maine is still their legal residence. And, so Fairfield, Maine is still their legal residence, but they know they're not going to attend a meeting in person for 7 or 8 months out of the year. the law's intent was to make sure that kind of scenario doesn't happen. And that the only way a council member, committee member can participate via Zoom is if you meet the definition of these emergencies. So you can't
I
just
understand that.
decide.
It's more of the public's
Right.
ability to access.
Right.
That is more.
Yep.
Right.
Right.
All right. Needed clarification? Thank you. No.
You're welcome.
Any other questions, concerns? There being none, all in favor? Carries full. All right, moving on to our seventh order of business, which is council workshop and other business. All right, the first discussion would be personal policy, new holiday, Juneteenth. Go for it.
Well, I feel like precedence has already been set. So to say no to Juneteenth, I don't think that's okay. They're all considered national holidays, but what I did find in there's no state or federal law that says.
And that's the same with all holidays.
Yeah, but I
Right, the state has adopted it, and it's going to be a state holiday.
right. I didn't realize.
Just because it's a federally adopted holiday and a state adopted holiday does not mean that you have to adopt it at the municipal level. It doesn't automatically mandate that, which is the reason why we would need this policy updated in order to include it. It is not anything that went into effect this year, but I have started receiving requests from the unions for memorandums of understanding to adjust the union contracts. So I figured we'd discuss this and do it all in one fell swoop, know that we would address the personnel policy, and then in turn be able to address it within the union contracts. But that's something that the council needs to decide.
So our personnel policy doesn't state anywhere it's in there that we follow or any and all state and
No.
federal holidays.
Does not.
None of the contract state that they
No.
follow state or federal holidays.
No, I don't believe so.
They're specific.
Specific days
Okay.
in every single one of them.
Wanted to make sure that it wasn't a
A blanket.
inclusive
Yeah. No.
clause in there stating that. Okay.
I would suggest in putting it on our next agenda as a voting point, yep.
No problem.
Next, number 2, which is discuss the August council schedule. So you want to give that a
This is my fault.
talk?
Your next meeting, which is August 11th, is actually smack dab, well, it's the beginning day for the Maintown City Managers New England Institute, which is located up in Sugarloaf, which I will actually be at and attending and doing a training on TIFs, but which will make it impossible for me to attend your council meeting. And then I thought, well, maybe I could attend via Zoom. But it also, that evening, there are events planned until later in the evening. That is their awards banquet and dinner and all of that. So we've kind of taken a look ahead as to what's going on, and we've done this actually quite a few times and have just kind of bumped your meeting either to one meeting for that month, whether it be in the middle or it be your regularly scheduled second meeting in August. And the chairman actually has a conflict with the following Wednesday. So we would just, what I'm suggesting is whether or not the council would just do your second meeting in August and not have the one on August 11th.
And we went over everything and stuff
Yeah.
like that. There's nothing major importance coming up that is,
If you need something signed, you can
We,
contact
yeah,
us.
we'll
We will,
contact for
yeah.
signatures for the warrant as
We will need
usual.
stuff
And then
for
if
the
something
warrant, yes.
emergency comes up, we'll contact you.
correct.
But I will be out of town for most all of that week. The staff all know how to reach me and that kind of stuff.
So do we need to do a vote on that, or? All right, then what I will do at this point is call for a motion to cancel our next council meeting and work on just the final council meeting of August.
Sounds good, so moved.
Second.
Any more discussion, talk, or whatever? Okay, all in favor? Carries full.
Thank you.
All right. Number 3, any other council business? Discuss other council business.
I have not.
No,
That's twice,
that's twice. That's like 2 weeks in a row.
Wow.
Really? 2 weeks in a row?
2 meetings in a row.
Oh, my word.
You need to step your game up a little bit.
Stephanie's been very busy on economic community development items.
That's right.
Whoa. Wow.
I'll bet. Michael?
I am good, sir, thank you.
Mark's good, and I'm good. So I've got nothing else. So the next regular meeting for Fairfield Town Council will be on, August 25th?
Yes.
Yes. 2021. And it will be held as a hybrid meeting via Zoom in council chambers at 6:30 p.m. At this point, we shall recess and sign all documents that require the signature of council members. Motion to recess?
So moved.
Second.
We're recessed.
Aye.